12 silent traps that can ruin your life after 70. Warning, these habits can steal your golden years. Have you ever noticed how some people thrive into their 80s and 90s, while others start to fade away much earlier? It's shocking but true. Many seniors are falling into hidden traps that steal their joy, freedom, and dignity without even realizing it until it's too late. Today, I'm going to reveal 12 dangerous habits that can quietly destroy your life after 70. These aren't just bad choices. They're silent traps that can rob you of the happy, independent life you deserve. I'll show you how to spot these traps and, more importantly, how to avoid them before they take control. Stay with me until the end. The last few traps might surprise you. They're not what most people think about, but they often cause the most damage when ignored. 1. Letting your body weaken. One of the fastest ways to lose your independence is by ignoring your physical health. It doesn't happen overnight. It's those small daily choices that add up. Skipping your walk, eating too much junk food, ignoring that new pain in your back. Over time, these small choices snowball. Your legs get weaker, your balance gets worse, and soon, even getting out of bed feels like climbing a mountain. I knew a man named Charles, 78, who used to be full of energy. He loved fishing, fixing his car, and dancing with his wife in the kitchen. But after a minor surgery, he stopped moving as much. "I'm just resting," he told himself. But months passed and his strength disappeared. When he finally tried to get active again, even walking around the block felt impossible. Your body doesn't need perfect exercise. It just needs regular movement. A short daily walk, some morning stretches, or even standing while watching TV can make a huge difference. Remember, when you take care of your body, you're making a statement that you still matter and still have things to do. Becoming socially isolated, losing friends can hurt your spirit faster than any physical illness. After 70, it's easy to pull away from others. Friends move away or pass on, your routines change, and suddenly weeks go by without a real conversation. What many don't realize is that loneliness isn't just sad, it's dangerous. Studies show that social isolation can lead to heart disease and faster mental decline. Your brain, like your body, needs exercise through talking, laughing, and connecting with others. I met Linda, 81, who lived alone after her husband died. She was sharp and witty, but slowly retreated into her home. "I just don't feel like going out anymore," she'd say. First, she skipped book club, then church groups, then stopped answering her phone. Within a year, Linda went from alert and engaging to foggy and withdrawn, not because her mind failed, but because her world became too quiet. Don't wait for others to reach out. Call an old friend, join a community group, or just say hello to your neighbor. Being around people reminds you that you belong and that you're more than just your age. 3. Holding on to old grudges. There's something heavy about carrying the past into your later years, those old arguments, silent treatments, and bitter feelings that never got resolved. Many think they've moved on just because they don't talk about it anymore. But resentment settles deep into your bones. After 70, when time becomes precious, that weight can eat away at your joy and peace. It doesn't just affect your mood, it changes how you see the world. You become suspicious of kindness and expect disappointment. And the sad truth is, the person who suffers most isn't the one you're angry with. It's you. Edward, 84, hadn't spoken to his oldest son in 12 years. "He didn't show up when I needed him," Edward insisted. But the longer we talked, the clearer it became. Edward wasn't protecting his pride. He was protecting his pain. With tears in his eyes, he admitted he couldn't even remember what started the argument. The silence had grown bigger than the problem itself. Forgiveness isn't saying what happened was okay. It's choosing to put down the pain so you can move forward. You don't need to forget, but you deserve to feel free. 4. Refusing help when you need it. There's a quiet pride many older folks carry. It comes from a lifetime of handling things on your own. But after 70, refusing help isn't just stubborn, it can be dangerous. Many of us were taught that asking for help shows weakness. But the truth is, it takes wisdom to know when you need support. Pride whispers, "You've managed this far. Don't start leaning on others now." But that voice comes from fear of looking vulnerable or being a burden. Harold, 76, started having trouble with stairs but didn't tell anyone. "I didn't want to be a problem," he explained after falling and breaking his hip. What he didn't understand was that the people who love us don't see us as problems. They see us as family. Every time you ask for help, you're not giving something up. You're giving others a chance to show they care. You're also setting an example that it's okay to be human and that life isn't meant to be carried alone. Taking too many medications. As we age, prescriptions tend to pile up. Blood pressure pills, cholesterol medicine, sleep aids, pain relievers. The list grows longer each year. Many seniors take these pills without questioning what they're for or if they still need them. Medicine saves lives, but it can also hide the real causes of your problems while creating new ones. Feeling tired? Take a pill. Can't sleep? Another pill. Mild pain? One more pill. But what about the root causes? Frank, 82, was taking nearly a dozen different pills daily. He couldn't remember what half of them were for, and some were just treating side effects of others. His hands trembled, his memory got fuzzy, and he felt like a shadow of himself. When a new doctor reviewed everything and helped him safely reduce his medications, Frank felt more alert and steady than he had in years. It wasn't age making him foggy. It was too many medications. This isn't about throwing away your prescriptions. It's about staying aware and asking questions. What is this for? Do I still need it? Is there an alternative? Your body changes with age, and what helped at 50 might be harmful at 75. Pills should support your life, not define it. Just living in an unsafe home. Most people don't think their house could be dangerous. But after 70, the home that once felt safest can become a hidden threat. Those steep stairs, dim hallways, and loose rugs you've lived with for decades can suddenly become serious hazards. It's not just about falls, though those are common. It's about how your home might be working against you. Bathrooms without grab bars, kitchen cabinets that require stretching, or rugs that catch your foot just enough to throw off your balance. Eleanor, 79, loved the home she'd lived in for 40 years. "This is my house," she'd say. "I'm not leaving." But the stairs had become difficult, and the laundry was in the basement. One day she missed a step and broke her wrist. The injury healed, but her confidence didn't. She became hesitant and stopped doing things she enjoyed. Her house hadn't just caused a fall, it had taken her freedom. You don't necessarily need to move. Simple changes like better lighting, removing trip hazards, or installing handrails can make a huge difference. These aren't signs of weakness. They show wisdom and planning. Your home should help you live, not quietly steal your independence, and not adjusting your finances. Money doesn't retire just because you do. After 70, how you handle your finances shapes your entire quality of life. The danger isn't always having too little. Sometimes it's not adapting to your new situation. What worked at 50 may not work at 75. Your expenses change, health costs grow, and your income shifts from paychecks to fixed sources. Yet many continue spending as if nothing has changed. Ronald, 74, was always careful with money, but hadn't reviewed his finances since his wife passed. He still paid for insurance they no longer needed, subscribed to services he didn't use, and donated to every charity that sent a letter. One day, he realized his savings were shrinking much faster than planned. Your later years should feel lighter, not more stressful. Review your spending, check for unnecessary expenses, and don't feel guilty about talking about money with family. Sometimes a few simple changes, consolidating accounts, canceling subscriptions, or creating a spending plan, can restore your sense of control. If you're supporting adult children or grandchildren, be careful. Generosity is wonderful, but not at the cost of your own security. You've done your part. Now protect what you've built. 8. Living with toxic people. One of the most overlooked problems isn't illness or money. It's the people you share your space with. After 70, your environment matters more than ever, and that includes the emotional environment. Living with someone who criticizes, controls, or creates tension wears you down in ways you might not notice at first. You might tell yourself, "I'm just keeping the peace," or "It's family, I have to endure it." But no matter who it is, an adult child, grandchild, sibling, or spouse, if being around them makes you feel small or anxious, it's serious. Emotional stress affects your sleep, appetite, blood pressure, and immune system. When that stress comes from someone you live with, there's no escape. Joyce, 75, moved in with her daughter's family after her husband died. At first, it seemed like a good arrangement, but soon she felt more like a maid than a guest. She cooked, cleaned, and babysat, but had no say in the house. Her son-in-law was cold. Her grandkids ignored her, and her daughter often said, "Mom, just go with the flow." Joyce never complained, but her spark dimmed. She stopped reading, lost weight, and began having panic attacks. It wasn't her age. It was her environment. If you're walking on eggshells in your own home, that's not home. It's a trap. You've earned the right to feel safe and respected where you live. Don't let anyone take that from you. I'm letting your mind go quiet. After a certain age, many people stop challenging their minds. Books sit unopened, hobbies fade away, and conversations become shorter and more routine. I'm too old for all that, they say. But your brain needs exercise just like your body. When it doesn't get it, it begins to shrink, slowly, quietly, and sometimes permanently. Mental stagnation isn't just forgetting things. It's losing your curiosity, your drive to learn, your spark, to try something new. When that goes, life flattens. Days blend together and you start to believe nothing exciting is left. Gerald, 80, had been a science teacher for decades. After retiring, he stopped reading and exploring. That part of life is over, he said. Slowly, his world shrank to a few TV shows and the same daily routine. But when someone gave him a book about astronomy, something lit up. I used to love this stuff, he whispered. Soon he joined an online discussion group and started writing again. Learning doesn't mean formal study. It could be watching a documentary, trying a recipe, doing a crossword, or asking your grandson to show you how to use a new app. Every new thing you try is like fresh air for your brain. Don't let technology scare you. Being a beginner again is one of the best exercises for your mind. It builds patience and confidence. A curious mind stays young no matter what the calendar says. 10. Losing your sense of purpose. When the job ends and the kids are grown, many people quietly ask, what now? After 70, the danger isn't just boredom, it's drifting. Without direction, even calm days feel empty. The hours pass, but they don't feel lived. Purpose isn't about grand achievements. It's about having a reason to get out of bed. Something that gives your day meaning. It could be tending a garden, supporting a friend, teaching your grandchild a skill, or simply being the person who shows up with a smile. Bernice, 77, had retired from the post office. At first, she enjoyed resting. But after a year, something changed. She started sleeping late, watching more TV, and avoiding friends. I don't really do much anymore, she'd say, her eyes losing their spark. Then her neighbor asked if she'd teach a weekly knitting class at the library. She hesitated but agreed. Within weeks, her whole attitude changed. She had purpose again. Your purpose doesn't have to impress others. It just has to matter to you. When you live like you still matter, you start to feel like you still matter. And that changes everything. 11. Trying too hard to look young. There's a big difference between staying young at heart and pretending you're still 35 after 70. Some people fall into the trap of chasing youth, spending time, money, and energy trying to look and act younger. While taking pride in your appearance is good, constantly fighting against time drains your joy and self-worth. You start comparing yourself to who you used to be or to others who seem to be aging better. This turns every wrinkle into a failure and every gray hair into something to hide. Dennis, 73, spent a fortune on anti-aging treatments, hair dyes, and skin creams. He said it made him feel in control, but he was really terrified of being seen as old. He avoided people his age, skipped events where he might feel too old, and slowly isolated himself. Aging, when embraced, can be beautiful. There's a calm confidence that only comes with time. The way you carry yourself, your stories, your wisdom. These aren't things to hide, they're treasures to share. Taking care of yourself should come from love, not fear. You don't have to chase the past to have a full life today. The more you make peace with where you are, the more open you become to joy. 12. Avoiding talk about death. For many, death feels like a door best kept closed. After 70, it's common to avoid the topic altogether out of fear, discomfort, or the hope that not talking about it keeps it away. But avoiding the subject doesn't protect you. It leaves you and your loved ones unprepared. Important decisions get delayed. Wills remain unwritten, wishes stay unspoken, and emotional closure never happens. This creates confusion and stress later on. Carol, 82, lost her husband suddenly. They had always avoided talking about death. We thought we had more time, she said. As a result, she had no idea what he wanted for his care, burial, or belongings. The grief was already heavy, but the uncertainty made it worse. I just wish we'd talked, she whispered. Talking about death doesn't invite it in. It prepares you to live more freely. When you've said what you need to say and made choices that reflect your values, there's a peace that comes. You're no longer living in quiet fear. These conversations don't have to be sad. They can be rooted in love. What do you want people to remember about you? How do you want your story told? What brings you comfort? Talking about death often deepens your appreciation for life. It reminds you to say, I love you more, often to forgive quicker, and to savor each day. When you stop fearing the end, you make more room for everything in between. Final thoughts? Which of these 12 traps spoke to you the most? Did you notice any creeping into your life? Life after 70 can be rich and fulfilling, but only if we stay alert to the things that threaten to steal that from us. The biggest dangers aren't always obvious. They're quiet and easy to ignore. Once you see them, you can choose differently. You don't need to tackle all 12. Start with just one. One small change to honor yourself and the life you still have ahead, because it's never too late to rewrite how you live. Thank you for joining me today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Share one thing you learned and how you'll use it in your life. Your comments mean so much to us. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us create more content to inspire you. See you next time.